Hey, this is Mark Goldberg with Mark Vlogs Watches. Look, there's my garbage can. Anyway, look. Hey, this is Mark from Mark Vlogs Watches, and today I'm going to be reviewing a travel shitter for you, and it's my favorite one. Of course, it's new, so give me a couple of months to decide if I really like it, but so far so good. And I'm going to start with the quick wristwatch check of the watch that we're going to be talking about right now, so stay tuned. Don't leave. Here we have the Casio Edifice EQB-600. In some senses, it might just be the ultimate travel watch. This is a watch which Bluetooths to your phone. Just hold that button down for 1.5 seconds. You'll get a beep, and when you get the beep, the second hand moves to the R indicator, and that tells you it's trying to contact your phone. And then you'll see up just above this position here, you have the Bluetooth symbol, and it only takes a second, and then your phone will connect right there to the actual Bluetooth of your phone, and then you're connected by your app. Here we go, guys. This is a little better. I've moved it indoors. It was getting windy outside. So what is this Bluetooth button all about? What does the app do for you, and so forth? Well, you'll notice that we have our primary time zone in the main dial there. This is quartz, by the way, and it has a battery, but it's solar powered. So, just as long as it gets somewhat regular exposure to light, the battery will remain full. And in fact, that's one of the things that you do on the app. You monitor battery life. So in the main dial there, you see it's about 4:10 and 25 seconds. You're monitoring your main time zone, but you'll see this little subdial here, which looks like it's set actually for the exact same time zone, but it's not. This is set for a 12-hour opposite time zone in Asia for fun. And you'll notice that you have the globe there. Now, that is an interesting function, and it does a couple of details for you. First, from the view of the North Pole, it shows you the spin of the Earth. And you'll notice right about there, you'll see that tiny little arrow. That's London, or GMT time. UTC, I think correctly is called now. And you'll also see the arrow right here at the top. That's indicating for the world 2400 hours, or midnight, to us Americans who don't typically use military time. Okay, so now that globe is spinning in this direction because that's the circulation of the Earth, which is mildly confusing because it's counterclockwise on this dial. However, that still leaves us with a pointer, and what that pointer does is it is also spinning in that direction. And that pointer is in the dark half of the globe now. You can see there is a circular dark black inset, and on the bottom you can see it's silver. So the dark part means that part of the globe is at night or in the dark, and the silver or light portion on the bottom means that half of the globe or that hemisphere is in the daytime. So I'm here at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, but that Asian time zone is there at 4, the corresponding 4 o'clock plus minutes in the dark part of the day, which would be 4 a.m. So it gives you just a quick glance at what's happening. Now there are a couple of other buttons here, and I'm going to walk you through what they do. First, the main dial is showing what's called home time, and the subdial is calling what Casio calls world time, but it's not world time, it's a second city. So that other city is at that time zone that we just discussed, 4 o'clock in the morning. Now, however, often people travel between two different time zones, the main time zone that is displayed there, and then the subdial time zone. So simply by depressing this button and holding it, those two time zones are going to swap. Now, it's going to take a good minute or two for all of this to move around because the hands have got to swing around wildly. You'll notice that they only had to change on the subdial and over there on the world, because now what I'm seeing is if I were in Thailand, Bangkok, for example, I would be looking at a whole different day and date. So you see the you see the day indicator going a little crazy. But it is just resetting for the new time zone. As I told you, that'll take a few minutes when you're doing radical changes. If you're traveling between New York and Los Angeles and you hit that button, it'll take just a second or two to adjust between those two time zones. When you're doing a more radical shift, it's going to take longer. It's still going, so we'll talk that through once it's finished. This button here is a kind of handy little guy. Typically what you want to do is you want to keep Bluetooth open on your phone, and then if you kind of put your phone down and you don't know where you've left it, you can simply hold that button down for 1 or 2 seconds. It'll beep, and then what happens is your telephone goes into an alarm mode that you have pre-established with the Casio app. And what that means is, even if it's set on silent, it's going to start making a lot of noise, and you can find it. So you can see here that everything has straightened itself out. I'm here Monday in my time zone, Monday the 26th, which is what it said before I reset that to the new time zone, but now it's showing Tuesday the 27th because that's what it is in Bangkok. I'm just going to put that back, and we'll let that go crazy, fixing itself while we talk. I don't know what you just saw there, but I hit the wrong button. That's the Find My iPhone button, and so my phone went off and started making noise. If that's on the video, I'll leave it because you'll see what happens. But I'm going to hold this down now as I initially intended, and once it beeps now, it's going to take again another minute or so to reset it, but it's going to put me back to local Chicago time. While that's all going off, I'll make mention that this watch is pretty big. It's 47 millimeters. It's nice looking. It retails for $400, although you can find it for probably $325 if you get it on sale at a department store, or $350 easily enough on eBay. I have to say, I think it's a nice looking watch, but it's not till you're holding it in person that you realize how much of the interior of that dial is plastic. The illumination is terrible. The 12 and the 6 and the 3 and the 9 are illuminated, as are the hands. But those glow for like 20 seconds and then they die. So it's definitely not a good nighttime watch on the one hand. On the other hand, you get 100 meters of water resistance out of this watch. So it's I just didn't take off that little hologram yet, but give you a look at the case back. It has 100 meters of water resistance, which is extremely nice because you can go into the ocean with this. If you go on vacation, you can take it into the pool. You can see it has a kind of a cheap metal stamped clasp, but it is secure. And I have to say, although this band is pretty cheaply made with crappy friction pins in here, from the outside, the parts that show, they look good. So I can't really complain too much at this price point. As you see at this angle, though, all these highly polished surfaces tend to show an awful lot of fingerprints. So if you get one of these guys, plan on wiping it down constantly. Now, a little something to be aware of here is that you'll see it's still resetting itself from that shift between 12-hour time zones. Again, if you're traveling between North America and Europe, or even within North America or Europe where there are a couple different time changes, this won't take so long. But what I've done is shifted by a full 12 hours and a whole date, right? Okay, so something to be aware of. There are very few reviews of this on Amazon or anywhere because it's super new. It was only introduced in May, and stores are literally just starting to get them now. And I saw one guy on Amazon who was really angry about this watch. He thought it was really crappy because it's advertised to have 100 meters of water resistance. He got it, he jumped in his pool, and immediately the watch was damaged. And he said he was going to return it. So, but I know what happened to that poor bastard. This crown is shipped out. This is a screw down crown. And I'm just going to unscrew it without pulling it out to its various positions. But this is how it ships, And I think he wasn't really a watch guy, so he didn't notice that. Right away I did. So I immediately, there are two pull-out positions, which we'll discuss in a second, but I'm not going to show you. But the first thing I did was screwed it down. And of course, it's not watertight unless you screw it down. And I don't know why they ship it that way. I think that's kind of silly. So why am I not going to pull that out and show you how to adjust this watch? Well, it has all these different functions on there, and you can control every function from that crown. But you should see the manual. I mean, it's like that thick, that comes with it in like 17 languages. And trust me, you're not going to want to read that manual. And frankly, you're not going to want to adjust this watch using the crown when you just simply open the app by connecting this to Bluetooth, open the app, and then visually you do everything with a super easy steps, including choosing any one of 300 international cities for your subdial. Your home time is very simple. You don't even set that. Your watch simply reads that off of your smartphone. If you leave Bluetooth running in the background, open but not connected, you don't have to connect it. Like, you don't have to go through. You see I'm not connected right now, right? Because that second hand is moving. It's not at the R position trying to make a connection, or stuck right there at the Bluetooth showing you that it is connected. It's just running right now. This is the normal operation mode. But I do have Bluetooth open on my phone. It doesn't hardly drain any battery because it's not connected to anything. But what will happen is 4 times per day, this watch will make its own very brief connection to Bluetooth. And in fact, you get to, in the settings, you can mess around with how long you want to let it, stay connected for. But what it's going to do is 4 times per day, it's going to check in with the atomic clock through Bluetooth, and it will make minor corrections to the time to keep it perfect. If you don't do that, then it's still accurate to plus or minus 15 seconds per month, okay, which is very good. It's like half a second a day, and that's if you do no correction. But if you let it correct itself, it will be it'll remain perfect. So I don't have a lot of criticisms of this watch other than the band and all that plastic in there and the lume. But when I balance it against the fact that it's a really good travel watch, it's something that operates easily on the phone app. Listen, the phone app, that for me, that was the clincher, to be honest with you. Like, I really like G-Shocks and other watches that have a million buttons, but I'm an old guy, and I get lost in the functions. And to me, there's nothing more frustrating than trying to figure out how to operate your own bloody watch. So make it simple for me. And this it gives me the ability to travel around the world, which I do with some regularity, but to maintain the right kind of connection to all the various cities I want. And it's also the kind of watch that you can jump into the shower, the ocean, or a swimming pool with and not feel bad about. Here's a quick peek at the main screen of the app on your smartphone, and you do all your navigation from here. You can get sub-menus to get into the home city and pick your various international cities. You can pause it to take a quicker look. And here is a diagram of what all the various buttons do. Again, you might want to freeze frame this to have a closer look at anything, but I have to say the app makes this so much easier to use. Anyway, this is Mark Goldberg from Mark Vlogs Watches, and I hope you like this episode with the Edifice Casio EQB-600.